Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The Bold and the Beautiful B&B spoilers recap for Wednesday, December 18, reveals that Ridge Forrester, Thorsten K., Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline Massinswood, and Eric Forrester, John McCook, agreed they wouldn't set foot in Forrester Creations until they could undo the takeover. After more Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, and Hope Logan, Annika Noel trashing, the Forresters made it clear that Carter didn't have what it took to run the place on his own. Meanwhile, Hope supported Carter's decision to offer the CEO spot to Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, but she worried about how this would affect her relationship with Ridge. In the design office, Electra Forrester, Lania Grace, struggled to understand why she was being fired. Both Electra and Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, pushed for real answers, but Brooke and Katie Logan, Heather Tom, stayed vague about the whole thing. Katie kept acting like Electra just wasn't a good fit for the company right now, especially during this delicate time. That didn't make sense to Electra or Ivy, but Brooke insisted the decision had been made. Brooke suggested they could do this discreetly, so Electra was instructed to gather her badge and things since she needed to leave today. After Electra took off, Ivy reminded Katie of how close Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, had gotten to Electra and clearly didn't think this lack of explanation would fly with him. At Il Giardino, Remy Price, Christian Weissman, mulled over his deep fake photo plot. Since Electra's world was about to unravel, Remy said he'd be there to pick up the pieces for Electra again. Next on Wednesday's B&B episode, Will found Remy and played up how much Electra loved her Forrester job. That's why Will pushed Remy to be the good guy that Electra thought he was and avoid doing anything to derail her future. Remy seemed irritated over Will implying that he'd mess things up for Electra, but Will ultimately warned that Remy would have to answer to him if he caused trouble. In Remy's room later, he looked at some Electra photos and made a prediction that she'd thank him for this in the end. In the Forrester salon, Will met back up with Electra and gave her updates on his visit to Remy. As Will was explaining, he noticed Electra looked upset and asked what was wrong. Electra couldn't control her tears as she admitted she just got fired. The news left Will shocked and confused over why. Electra reeled over her dream being dashed and was frustrated since she wasn't even given a reason for her forced Forrester exit. Back with Brooke, she filled Carter and Hope in on Electra's firing as well. Hope had questions, but Carter trusted Brooke's judgment and praised her objectivity in situations like this. Carter also mentioned that he wanted to hire a CEO, someone who was already at Forrester and had proven herself. Once Carter revealed Brooke was his pick, she was absolutely floored. Carter wanted to send a bold message about his exciting new vision for Forrester, so he needed Brooke's leadership. Hope was in agreement as Carter pushed Brooke to step back into the CEO role. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Brooke's decision will make some serious waves, so stay tuned. The midday sun filtered through the glittering glass windows of Forrester Creations, casting a golden glow on the bustling office. Yet, the vibrant atmosphere seemed to hold a sense of foreboding, one that mirrored the tension in the executive suite. Katie Logan sat at her desk, her fingers tapping rhythmically against a sleek tablet. Across from her, Brooke Logan paced with an intensity that rivaled the silent ticking of the ornate clock on the wall. Both sisters wore expressions of grim determination, their usual elegance shadowed by an air of mystery. "Are you sure about this?" Brooke asked, her voice tinged with concern. Katie paused, her piercing gaze meeting Brooke's. "Yes, Brooke. We've gone over it 100 times. This is the right call." "Electra won't go quietly," Brooke warned. "She's not exactly the type to walk away without a fight." Katie sighed, pushing back a stray strand of her auburn hair. "She's left us no choice. It's not about personal vendettas. It's about protecting this company and our family. And besides, Will deserves better than this mess." As if on cue, a sharp knock echoed through the office. The sisters exchanged a wary glance before Katie called out, "Come in." The door swung open to reveal Electra Sterling, Forrester Creations' recently appointed design director. Her dramatic entrance matched her reputation, a storm of emotion wrapped in designer couture, Electra's platinum blonde hair cascaded in waves, framing her striking features, but her eyes glistened with unshed tears that threatened to mar her carefully composed exterior. "Katie." "Brooke." Electra began, her voice trembling with a mix of indignation and desperation. "I just received the notice from HR. You're terminating my contract, without so much as an explanation?" Brooke's lips tightened, and she gestured for Electra to take a seat. But Electra remained standing, her fists clenched at her sides. "I deserve to know why," Electra demanded. "After everything I've poured into this company, the sacrifices I've made, you owe me that much." Katie stood, her calm demeanor unwavering. "Electra, this decision wasn't made lightly. We'd appreciate your contributions, but this is what's best for Forrester Creations." "That's not an answer," Electra snapped. Her voice rose, and her perfectly manicured nails dug into her palms. "Is this personal? Because if it is, let's address it right here, right now." Brooke stepped in, her tone firm but diplomatic. "This isn't personal, Electra. We're not at liberty to discuss all the details, but please understand, this is a business decision." Electra's laugh was bitter, almost mocking. "A business decision? Oh, how convenient. You Logan women are experts at hiding behind vague justifications." Her voice cracked and she turned away, struggling to regain her composure. The tension was palpable, and the silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Katie broke the stalemate. "Electra, we'll ensure a smooth transition. HR will assist you with anything you need." But Electra had already stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Downstairs, in the Forrester Creations showroom, Will Spencer sat cross-legged on a plush leather sofa, engrossed in a sketchpad filled with colorful doodles of fashion designs. At just 12 years old, Will had inherited his father's sharp mind and his mother's creative flair. Today, however, he seemed unusually subdued, his normally sunny disposition clouded by the tension in the air. Electra found him there, her eyes softening at the sight of the boy. She hesitated for a moment, then approached him with a vulnerability that was rare for her. "Will," she said gently, sitting down beside him. Will glanced up, his hazel eyes curious. "Hi, Electra. You look upset." She managed a wry smile. "You're very perceptive, aren't you? Must be a Spencer thing." Will shrugged, setting his sketchpad aside. "Mom says I get it from Dad." Electra's expression faltered briefly at the mention of Bill Spencer. She had her own history with Will's father, one filled with misunderstandings and unspoken regrets. But this wasn't the time for those reflections. "Will, I need to ask you something," Electra began, her voice uncharacteristically soft. "Have I ever done anything to make your mom angry or upset?" Will frowned, his young mind grappling with the complexity of the question. "I don't think so. Mom doesn't talk about work stuff with me, but she's been kind of stressed lately." Electra's heart ached at the boy's innocent honesty. She blinked back tears and reached for his hand. "You're a good kid, Will. Don't ever forget that." Will squeezed her hand, his gaze steady. "Are you going to be okay?" Electra forced a smile, though her tears betrayed her. "I don't know, Will. But thank you for asking." Back upstairs, Katie leaned against her desk, her arms crossed as she watched Brooke pace once again. "She's going to make this difficult, isn't she?" Brooke muttered. "It's Electra." "Of course she is," Katie replied. Brooke stopped, her brow furrowed in thought. "Do you think we handled it the right way? I mean, should we have been more transparent?" Katie shook her head. "You know we couldn't do that. Electra's actions put the company at risk. We can't afford to let emotions cloud our judgment." Brooke nodded reluctantly. "I just hope this doesn't come back to bite us." In the dimly lit corner of Il Giardino, Electra nursed a glass of wine, her mind racing with thoughts of betrayal and confusion. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to her firing than what Katie and Brooke had let on. Her phone buzzed and she glanced at the screen. It was a message from an unknown number. "Meet me tomorrow. I have information you'll want to see." Electra's heart skipped a beat. Could this be the key to uncovering the truth? She quickly typed a response, her resolve hardening. As she sat back, her mind swirled with questions and a renewed determination. If the Logan sisters thought they could cast her aside without consequences, they were sorely mistaken. Meanwhile, back at the Logan estate, Will curled up on the couch beside Katie, his sketchpad in hand. Katie ran her fingers through his hair, her mind far away despite her physical presence. "Mom." Will's voice broke through her thoughts. "Yes, sweetheart," Katie replied, her tone gentle. "Why did you fire Electra?" he asked, his innocent question cutting straight to the heart of her turmoil. Katie hesitated, searching for the right words. Sometimes, grown-ups have to make tough decisions to protect the people they care about. Will frowned, clearly unsatisfied with the vague answer. "But isn't she one of the people you care about?" Katie's heart ached at her son's perceptiveness. She pulled him close, kissing the top of his head. "It's complicated, Will. But I promise, everything I do is to make sure you and everyone else in our family are safe and happy." Will nodded, though the furrow in his brow remained. As Katie held her son, the weight of her decisions pressed heavily on her. She knew the fallout from Electra's firing was only beginning, and the path ahead would be anything but easy. The day ended with more questions than answers, as the world of Forrester Creations continued to swirl with intrigue, ambition, and fractured relationships. And while the Logan sisters held their ground, Electra's determination to uncover the truth promised that this was far from the end of the story. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.